Hi, and welcome to Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor. My name's Ashley, and today I'm going to bring you along with me as I make some DIYs for my mom's fireplace mantle and my little pumpkin patch display. But first, if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Then hit that little notification bell so you can get notified anytime I upload a new video. Then join me on Facebook and Instagram, and let's get social. Give me a like and follow to join my crafting community and to see behind the scene content I know you're not going to want to miss. All right, so first we're going to start off with some mantle decor. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this wreath that my mom already had, and she put some blue flowers in it to kind of bring in the blue of her living room, but she changed out some of her decor, so we need to add some orange to this. Now you can see the kind of grainy, mossy pumpkins around there. That is the color that we chose to kind of highlight this fall, so it's going to be that green mossy color, orange, the browns, the deep yellows, and your traditional fall colors. So all I'm doing is taking some gourds and some pumpkins that she also already had, and I'm just going to hot glue them in this wreath. I am not sure where she got this wreath. I absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous, and I cannot wait for you to see how this all comes together at the end when I actually decorate her fireplace. So you're gonna have to stick around till the end of the video to see how I bring it all to life. So after that, I'm just going to take these orangish, I guess, leaves that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to stick those in as well. So anywhere I see that it needs some orange, I'm going to go ahead and stick in there. And this is because, like I said, she had changed her colors out, so I needed to definitely add some orange to this wreath. I just love this wreath. It is gorgeous. Now, first I just start placing everything, and then you're going to see that I go through, and once I am sure that that's where I want it to go, I do use some hot glue to adhere all of my pieces down so they don't fall out. But this is just what I do first. I just place everything, and then I will go ahead and glue them in. All right, so now that I know where I want everything, I'm just going to glue them down. Easy peasy. So now I'm just going through and kind of touching it up a little bit, moving some things around, making sure that I like how it looks. Now, as I'm looking at it right now, I do notice a hole in right there where I just touched. So I mean, it's already on the mantle, so that's just how it's gonna have to be for now. But if I would have noticed, I definitely would have filled that in. So I just really thought that this orange really added that special touch of color that this wreath needed. So then once I think it looks good, then this one is done. So for my next DIY, I decided I was going to make a big sign to place on top of the mantle. So I got this wood cupboard door a while ago at a local grocery store, and they were 2 for 99 cents. Yes, you heard that right. 2 for 99 cents. It's crazy. But so obviously I picked up a ton. So all I'm going to do is give the inside of this door a good coat of plaster chalk paint from Waverly. Now at first you can see I'm just painting the inside, and now I'm going to go through with some painter's tape and tape off the edges because I'm actually going to stain like the little frame around it. So I did want to tape this off so I didn't get any of that plaster paint on that. But I could not believe the deal that I got with these, and they have come in handy so much. If you watched my If you watched my front porch decorating video, that big long welcome sign also came from that grocery store, and that one might have been 99 cents, but these doors right here were two for 99 cents, and I hope that they bring them back because, oh my goodness, I would love to stock up. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish painting this plaster, and I'm making sure to get in all the corners. And I just want to point out my surface here. I'm really sorry that to the right or to the left you can see my trash can and then the mess, but that is all I have to work with because the desk is so small. So I apologize, but this is just the only angle I could get so you could see what I'm doing. So after that plaster paint dried, I took my ruler and we're just going to go ahead and make those shiplap lines that you know I love. So I just drew a line on the top of the ruler and the bottom, and now I'm just going to go through and do the same thing all the way down and then all the way to the top. So I pretty much do this to everything because I just love that look, and I love that shiplap look. It's funny because I'm not farmhouse at all, but I do love that look. All right, then to make it look a little bit more rustic, I am taking my finger and I'm just smudging my pencil lines. That way it all blends in. And I really love using this method to make the faux shiplap. I think it just looks so good. And then after that, I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax and my chippy brush, and I am simply going to dry brush some of that wax all over my cupboard. Except for of course, the taped off part. So I'm just dry brushing. I am making sure to pay attention to the little ledges there. See how it got a little darker? So I am paying attention to the edges so they are darker, so they're highlighted more. And then I'm going to go in between right there to, that way it adds a little color and dimension and makes it look rustic around there too. So obviously I love using antique wax on everything. That's just my color. Some people distress with black, some people distress with gray. Mine is definitely this wax, the brown, for sure. All right, so now I'm going to go through and use my sanding block to sand everything down to help it all blend in. And also it brought out the natural wood from underneath, and I really loved that look too. Next, I'm going to take this pack of Decorate Your Own pumpkin ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pick out 5. And right now, I'm just kind of arranging how I want them to look, and then I'm going to pick the colors I want. So I'm just laying it out, kind of testing it. And then in a minute, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to write the color that I want on each one. So for this sign, we are going to use the colors white, moss, and pumpkin, all chalk paints from Waverly. So I am going to paint 2 of these pumpkins with the moss chalk paint, 1 pumpkin with the pumpkin chalk paint, and 2 pumpkins with the white chalk paint. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do my 2 moss, and then I will paint the others. Now, I did decide halfway through that I did want to cover those holes. I actually knew I wanted to do that, but forgot before I started painting. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'm going to fill in all the holes and then sand it down, and then continue to paint all of my pumpkins. I just want to take this opportunity to welcome you to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for choosing to stop by today. I really hope that you love what you see and choose to stick with me for a while by subscribing to my channel. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you love what you see. If you're returning, thank you so much for all of your love and support. You know that you are amazing, and I appreciate all of you. And again, please leave me comments, because I am going through and trying to reply, but I know that I am so behind. I apologize about that, but you guys just please keep commenting, because I love reading all of your comments. So thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to share with you even more DIYs. All right, so now I'm gonna paint my last pumpkin white, and like I said, I did 2 moss, 2 in the pumpkin orange, 2 moss, 1 in the pumpkin orange, and 2 white. Now I'm going to take my nutmeg apple barrel paint, and I'm just going to simply paint all of my stems. And I just used this same paint on, or the same color paint on all of them. That way I had nice coverage on the stems. I really love these colors together. Look how good that looks. I'm really loving these 3 colors together. All right, so after all my pumpkins were dry, I'm going to take a really small detail brush, dip it in my antique wax, and I'm just going to make those pumpkin lines. And you know, if you've been following me for a while, that I do this on all the pumpkins. It's nothing new. I mean, I learned from YouTube how to do this. So all I'm doing is just making those curved lines, and you can see the little bumps at the bottom. That's just the guide I'm using. And then I'm also going to go around the perimeter and then also hit in the middle of each of the pumpkins too. And I'm going to do this to every single one of those pumpkins. So this is so easy to do. And I think that this detail brings these pumpkins to life and makes it look even more realistic. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do this on all of the pumpkins. You're going to have to let me know down in the comments when you decorate for fall, if you decorate for fall, what colors do you do? Are you just very neutral and farmhouse? Do you do the traditional colors? Do you do blues? What colors are you decorating with this fall? I feel like anything goes anymore, and there's not really an in style. I feel like there's such a big percentage that do the traditional, like me, and then there's such a big percentage that do the neutral that just kind of throw in, you know, maybe beige pumpkins or neutral colored decor. So let me know what you're doing. Okay, so after all my pumpkin lines are drawn, I'm going to go through and just sand them all down to help it all blend in. I really think that this helps a lot too. It doesn't make the lines look so bold. Okay, so after that, I'm going to take my cupboard door and I'm going to peel off all the tape. And this time I'm going to take that tape, and I'm going to tape over where I painted, because we are going to stain the frame of this door. So I'm just replacing all of my tape now. And then to stain it, I'm just going to use my Waverly Antique Wax. And I'm going to take a baby wipe and just dip it in the wax and just rub it on. And it was easy as that. And I am going to make sure to get the edges, the sides, the tops, the bottoms, all of it. So I'm just going to go through and faux stain this entire frame. Now, I couldn't decide if I wanted to see how the left side is kind of darker and the right side is kind of lighter. I couldn't decide which I liked better. So you're going to have to let me know in the comments which one you like. Do you like it darker or do you like it lighter? Or do you not see a difference? But look at that natural wood grain that this wax is bringing out. It's so pretty. All right, next we're going to take off all the tape to reveal my stained frame. And then I'm going to get this decal that I made for my Cricut. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, that's okay. You can use rub-on transfers, stickers, stencils, anything that you have that you can do letters. And I just found this on Cricut Design Space, but it did say welcome to our patch. Or no, I'm sorry, it said welcome to our home, but I took out the home and because I only wanted welcome to our. So now I'm just going to go through and weed everything. So basically I'm taking out all the negative parts, the parts that shouldn't be there. And then I'm going to put my transfer paper on it. And as you can see, I took those pumpkins again and I lined them up at the bottom. So before I go ahead and put my words down, I made sure to have my pumpkins lined up. Now my pumpkins are not glued at this point. So now I just went through and I'm transferring it to the transfer paper. And now this will be easy for me. This transfer paper gave me such trouble because I reused it like 100 times. So needless to say, that was the last time, because look how I really have to work with it. Okay, so now I'm going to line up my pumpkins again, because they obviously kind of moved, and make sure that they are perfect in how I want them. And then I'm going to, sorry about my head, I had to get right on top of this so I could see. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my words down. So I'm just positioning it, making sure. I did end up cutting off the bottom because it was just easier for me to tell what I was doing. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put my words down, and I'm going to use that little tool to scrape it on. Let me know in the comments, do you have a Cricut? If you've been following me for a while, you know that I just got mine in, I believe it was July. I just saw a good deal. I'd never had a Cricut before, and I saw a good deal on Amazon, and I decided to go for it. And I'm telling you what, I every day sit here and think, why did I not do this years ago? Years ago. I was intimidated for nothing. It is so easy to use. I've made so many projects with it already, and I just love it. It really ups your game in DIYs, I think. Okay, so after I got my words on, I went ahead and hot glued my pumpkins down. Now you can see that I have them overlapping each other, and that orange one in the middle is right on top. So now I just hot glue them to each other, and now I'm going to glue down the ones that are actually going to touch the board to the door. All right, now that they're all glued down, I'm going to take these poster letters that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I am just going to spell out patch, and I'm going to put one letter on each pumpkin. I really love how this came out. I can't wait for you to see it. So I'm just going to put all of my letters on, and my H. And I mean, these letters would be perfect to do this whole sign with, so you don't even have to have a Cricut. But I have an abundance of these letters because I just got my Cricut, so this is what I, used to use. So after those were all down, I'm just kind of checking it out, making sure I like it. And I decided that I did, so that makes this project complete. So one of the things about using this moss color is that my mom and I didn't really want to go buy a bunch of pumpkins that were this color. So of course I had these little foam pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. So I simply just gave this 2 coats of that moss color. And that was how easy this DIY was. Now, like I said, you're going to see at the end how I bring it all together and how I decorate with them, but that's just an idea that you can use. So if you decide that you want to, decorate with pink pumpkins or purple pumpkins, whatever, but they don't have them in stores or you don't want to buy them, then you can paint these pumpkins whatever color you want. So after my moss coat was dry, I just went ahead and took a makeup sponge, and I'm just dipping it in the antique wax, and I'm putting all of the spaces that go down the dips in the pumpkin. I'm just rubbing that all in with my finger, and that way it gives this pumpkin a little bit more dimension, makes it look rustic, and more for the eye to see. Now after I go in with my antique wax, I'm going to do the same thing with my ivory chalk paint and kind of mix it together, and then I'm going to go over this entire pumpkin with a little bit more of moss just to tone down all of the brown that's on the pumpkin. So here's where I'm going to go in with the ivory. It's either ivory or plaster. I honestly can't remember, and of course the bottle's not turned toward me, and I can't see on the lid. But yeah, so I'm just taking my finger and I'm just rubbing it all through, and I really felt like this added so much detail to this pumpkin. And I did want to mention that I did paint the bottom of this pumpkin too, because the way that I'm going to display it, you actually are going to see the bottom. But now you can see I'm taking my paintbrush with the moss paint, and I'm going to go ahead and dry brush over it just to dull down all of the colors. So I did this on one of the pumpkins, and like I said, you'll see me put it to use really soon. Okay, so for the next DIY, we're going to have to take a trip down memory lane. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I made this flower market flower box display inspired by something that I saw on another YouTuber's channel, but it originated from Hobby Lobby. And I made all the tools, the watering can, the sign, everything on it. So I thought that I could easily switch it out for fall. So right now we're going to go ahead and make some little accessories to go on top of it, and then I'm going to decorate it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off with this crate from the Dollar Tree. Now this one does have the slats in it, so this is the one with like the spaces. And again, I'm just going to use my baby wipe and the Waverly Antique Wax and stain this entire crate. Now, I will have the video linked at the end of this video to how to make that flower box display. It was, to this day, one of my absolute favorite DIYs, and it was so easy too. So I am going to make sure to stain the tops. I'm not going to worry about the inside. You're not going to be able to see it, but I did make sure to get everything else. All right, so next I'm going to take this little orange car, again, from the Dollar Tree. And I purposely got orange because there's orange on the wheels, and I wanted that detail. So to get the wheels off, I mean, you just have to pull them off. It was a little work. I tried to use my scraper to do this, but you just push them out with your fingers, with your thumbs, which you're about to see me do in just a second. But you just push them out really, push them out really hard. It's a good workout. So 3 of them came out really easy, and then this 4th one, of course, was so stubborn. But eventually I do get these off. So now I'm just trying to use everything, get this dang wheel off. All right, so finally it does pop off, but I'm not really loving the gray, but like I said, I loved the orange. So what I'm gonna do is I took this dowel rod from the Dollar Tree and I hot glued it to the inside of one of the wheels. And I am making sure to put a generous amount of hot glue in. Then I started painting the wheel black. So now I'm just going to go through and paint the outside of the wheel black, but I am going to keep the orange part of the wheel orange. So I'm not going to paint over that. So I'm just going to paint around it. And then I should have done this before I painted it, but I went ahead and put it underneath this whole thing, and then I lined up another wheel, kind of gauged where I needed to cut the dowel. I used my miter shears to cut my dowel down, and then I'm going to hot glue the other end of that dowel to another wheel. Now I did go ahead and cut out another dowel the same size because obviously we need 2 sets of wheels. So now I'm going to hot glue the other wheel to the other side of the dowel. And again, like I said, I'm going to use tons and tons of hot glue because I don't want these to come off. Now, these wheels are not going to be able to turn. They're not actually functional, but it looks super cute, so it's okay. All right, so here we go. And then after I get the wheels attached, I am going to continue painting my wheels black. So I started painting these wheels black prior to doing the dowel rod thing, and then I was like, oh, if I hot glue the dowel rod on at first, then it would be easier for me to paint because then I would have something to hold on to. So that's why I stopped in the middle of painting and started doing the dowel. So once my first set was together, I went ahead and hot glued the second set together. And then I am also going to paint those wheels as well. Now you do have to hold the wheels up until the glue sets. That way it doesn't fall over. But I tell you what, hot glue worked fine. I haven't had any problems. We have not had any wheels go missing yet or falling off. All right, so now I'm just going to go through and paint my wheels. And like I said, I am very careful around the orange because I do not want to get any black paint around the orange. So I'm just going to finish up my painting here. And there we go. Okay, so now it is time to glue the wheels on my box. I know it looks lopsided, but it's not. It's the way my camera is, so sorry. So to do this, I'm just going to simply use some hot glue and hot glue my dowels on. It was that easy. So simple. There we go. So now I have a little wagon, and it's so cute. This is going to be perfect on my little pumpkin patch display. So I'm just reinforcing it with some hot glue. All right, so now I'm gonna make a handle for my wagon. So I had an extra little piece of that dowel that I'd cut off. So I'm going to, of course, paint this black, the whole thing. And I did have to hold it, dry one area, and then flip it. So I didn't get black paint all over my hands. And then after I painted this, I did decide to cut this at a 45-degree angle because I thought that it might be easier for me to glue it on, which it was. So after I cut it, I now am going to hot glue it to the side of my crate on the bottom. And then I am going to put a generous amount of hot glue on that too. Then I'm going to take a little end of a skewer and I'm going to cut that off, glue it on the top just like a handle. And then once that's glued on, I'm going to paint that with my black paint as well. So I'm just going to give that a nice coat of black paint. And I am making sure to get the ends and the sides all around underneath because it is all seen. Easy. This is so easy to do. Okay, so now it's time to fill my little crate. So I decided to take some raffia and I'm just cutting a bunch of raffia off of the I don't know, spool of raffia, package of raffia, and I'm just sticking it all in there. Now, those little pumpkins I actually pulled off of picks. For some reason, my Dollar Tree is not getting in the packs of like little pumpkins on sticks. You know, those ones that I'm talking about? I have a ton of those in storage. But of course, mine just are not, I don't know, I keep checking and I cannot find them. So the only way I can get these little pumpkins at the Dollar Tree is to pull them off of floral picks. Okay, so now I'm going to take this calendar and I am going to cut out the little picture on the back and it says Farm Fresh Pumpkins because I just thought I wanted to add a little something more to that crate. So now I'm going to cut all around it, cut it down so there's no white showing through. And now I'm just going to use my hot glue here to hot glue it to the crate. Now, obviously, if I would have thought to do this before I filled it, I would have, but that's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. All right, so now I'm just fixing up all my raffia and adding in my pumpkins, and this little wagon is ready to go on my pumpkin patch display. Look how cute that is. Okay, so now I have to do something about that flower market sign. So what I did was I took it out of the display, I flipped it over, and I'm gonna paint this to look how the front looks. I really loved the front of that picture. Of course, it was I'm using ivory chalk paint. I'm going to give that a coat. Then I'm going to do the whole shiplap thing again because that's what the front looked like. And I, like I said, really loved it. So I'm just going to make my ruler lines. I'm going to use my finger to smudge it. And then, of course, you know what's coming. I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax and my chippy brush, and I'm going to dry brush some of that over my sign. So when I go to make another sign, maybe, you know, eggs, farm fresh eggs for Easter, I can just take this sign out and I can trace it on some foam board or something and make another one. Okay, so I made this graphic on the Cricut and pumpkin patch I got from the design space, but I did type up farm fresh and pick your own, so now I'm just attaching it. Then I'm going to take these stickers and I'm just going to put some on my little sign. Now, I decided that I'm trying to choose which ones I want. Now, I did not want blue. Blue is my mom's color. I did not want that because I'm going to take this with me when I leave. So what I did was I took off the blue pumpkin on this one and I'm just going to replace it with a white pumpkin. I know it's petty and it's picky, but that's just the color scheme I'm going for. So now, just to kind of dull down the colors, I'm just going to dry brush over the words a little bit. That way they kind of match the stickers more. You know how the stickers are kind of more rustic looking? And after that, it's time to decorate my pumpkin patch display and the mantle. Okay, so first what I had to do was clear off the pumpkin patch display, or I'm sorry, the flower market display. So I'm just taking all my leaves, flowers, everything, putting them away till next year. I was thinking about doing farm fresh trees for Christmas. I think that would be cute. Now I'm just clearing it all off, and then I'm going to wipe this down just a little bit. I don't want to wipe it too hard because I don't want the stain to come off. And next I'm going to go ahead and add my sign once it's all wiped down. Oh, of course I have to clean the table too. Okay, so now I'm going to add my sign. So I'm just going to flip it over, and it's a picture frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. So that's how the front of the flower market looked. And as you can see, it's like that shiplappy look. And if you want to see how I created this whole thing, like I said, I will have the link to this, to the video at the end of this video and in my description box. So definitely make sure to check that out. All right, so I'm getting my picture in there. And then I'm going to add my little wagon to the side. Now, I did have to add, I'm showing you Jenga blocks because it was too wide. So in order to help it stand, I added Jenga blocks. Then I went ahead and added one of those big bales of hay up top. And then these mini bales of hay were perfect for this. Now, the only pumpkins I could find to fill this were actually in the Halloween section. You can see they're sparkly orange, and I'm putting those on. And then again, I had to pull pumpkins off of picks. But I'm just going to go ahead and let the music play and let you watch me decorate this little pumpkin patch display. I thought this Rae Dunn watering can that says Pumpkin Love paired perfectly with this display, so I just went ahead and stuck it on the side. And then to complete it, I'm going to add this little Farm Fresh sign that came out of that pack of words, and I painted it with pumpkin chalk paint. What do you think? How festive and fun did this pumpkin patch display come out? I have to say, decorating this box is probably my favorite area to decorate because I get to be creative and really think outside of the box. No pun intended. Please don't unsubscribe from my channel. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this whole pumpkin patch display. And the great thing about this, like I said, is that it's so versatile, so you can switch it up for every season. So I was thinking about doing Christmas trees, you can do farm fresh Easter eggs, and then you can go back to the flowers for the fall. Or summer, and then I was even thinking early fall, you could do sunflowers, like a sunflower patch. But I absolutely loved how this came out. I love the colors and how it screams fall, and it's totally getting me excited for autumn. Okay, now it's time to move to the mantle. So I stuck that wreath on this old window that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace, actually. My husband went ahead and put a nail on the top, and I hung my wreath. And now I'm going to layer my sign right in the front. And then I have this little window arch I'm going to put on the other side. And then remember this harvest wagon. Now the wheels I did take off, that way it would sit better, but I will have that video linked to the end of this video as well, so you can see how I made that. And then I'm going to add this little garland. I imagine it came from the Dollar Tree. My mom already had this, but if I were to guess, I'm going to guess that's where it came from. But I love the contrast in colors here. So I am going to just add this to kind of the middle. You see it doesn't go all the way across. So I'm just making sure that it is flat, or not flat, but stable, I guess, so it's not going to fall. After that, I'm going to add a little bit of green picks to the middle. That way it brings in the green of the wreath. And don't forget, green is kind of like the highlight. Next, I'm going to take one of the candle sticks from the Dollar Tree, and then I added our moss pumpkin. I did take out the stem of the moss pumpkin, and I'm going to put this gold velvet pumpkin from the Dollar Tree on top. I took out the stem, and then I was going to add this orange one, but then I changed my mind. So I put the stem back in, and now it's on top of the moss pumpkin. And then although I do end up changing that. And then I take this other orange pumpkin and put it on its side. Then I'm going to scoot everything over because I forgot that I wanted to add a lantern. But then I end up switching this around. So what I'm going to do is actually take those pumpkins down on the other side, and I'm going to put the lantern on that side. So again, I'm just going to let the music play and let you watch how I decorate this. So I had already decorated the hearth of the fireplace before this video, so now you can see the whole thing. What do you think? I am so loving the colors this year of my mom's mantle and living room. I think that moss paint just absolutely brings out just a fun and vibrant and different color for fall. You're gonna have to let me know in the comments what you thought about all of this decor. If you had a favorite piece, are you going to do it yourself? Let me know. And don't forget to tell me what colors you're using for fall. I want to know your thoughts. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you loved what you saw and got some great inspiration and ideas on how you can decorate your mantle or fireplace or an area in your home for the next season. Don't forget to check out the videos linked at the end of this video to see even more DIY inspiration and to check out how I made some of the pieces in this video that I did not go over. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that little notification bell so you can get notified anytime I upload a new video. Then hit the drop down menu and click all so you can get notified about all notifications. Also, don't forget, please give this video a thumbs up if you loved what you saw. Not only does it help my channel to grow, but it tells YouTube you love my content and you want to see more. Well, until I see you again, I'll craft and decorate with you soon. Bye!